Hey everyone, and welcome to an early morning session of What the Flag. We have recorded, I think, it every hour now. We also have a special guest joining us, Hendrix the puppy with Queen Yaz. Everyone say hi to Hendrix. I don't even know what kind of dog the Hendrix is.
He is a Cavachon Cocker Spaniel cross.
That sounds very bougie.
Yeah, it's very energetic, I tell you that much.
Too energetic for this time in the morning. But it's been a little bit of time, and I guess I don't even know where to really start. I feel like there's been a lot of things popping up lately. I know if we talk about like around the world, there's a lot more flag events that are coming up, which is really exciting. Yaz, have you been playing any netball or just been Mama Bear to Hendrix? You're
Mom
babysitting.
Bear, yeah, I'm babysitting, and he is an absolute terror, but he's very cute. I have still been living my best netball life. Got another man of the match this week. We didn't win, but
Casual.
I know, Kenny, you're disappointed, but they were the top of the league. We're the bottom of the league for reference, in case you didn't know. They were top of the league. We only lost by two.
That's really good.
So in comparison to the first time we played them, I think we lost to them like 21-3. So I mean, like to lose 10 to 8, we'll take it. There's some improvement there. There's
That
some
was
improvement.
legit an American football squad they put on you the first time. So this
Yeah,
is
yeah, it
this
was a
is
bit
yourself.
rude. Yes.
So
Um, but yeah, no, just it was the last one before Christmas. I didn't know it was Christmas jumper week. Like I don't know. Some people turned up in Christmas jumpers. I was like, guys, I didn't even know. I need an excuse to use my Christmas jumper. Like I never wear it. And I wasn't playing it. But yeah, no, it was great fun. Planning on going back next year and hopefully winning some more games. But we'll see. You know how it is. You know how
Yeah.
it is.
going back next year, as in, is at the end of the league
January, as in
or
January.
just literally the next. Oh, okay,
Yeah, yeah. We play until the end of Feb.
okay,
And
okay.
then I think we play everyone in the league twice. There's no real prize at the end. It's mostly just a recreational league, so it's fine.
Do you,
Dog is trying to c catch his tail. So give me 2 seconds.
And
Thanks.
Kenny, what have you been up to?
um, it's been a kind of a quiet week. I think this period for me, like a lot of people in flag, especially, I think is one of kind of rebuilding, resetting, getting ready for what else coming next. So I wrote not necessarily for conversation on the podcast, but I wrote an athlete development model last year, which is just a way of kind of tracking and just checking where players should be. But I've been working on a coach development model, and I think it's very near the end now, which is kind of it should be exciting, but it's just more kind of a weight off my back because I feel like it's been it's been something you've been working on for such a long time. It's good to get it over the line and be like, oh, okay, that's done. But like with the ADM, it's good to I finished it and then kind of had a year to test it out on random people. All those that have helped out with it and trialed it and tested it, thank you. I'll be reaching out to some people to help with the coach development model as well now. From a flag coach development model. It will be either absolutely rubbish or it could be really good. I think it'll be really good for people. I think so. That's the hope.
Would you say that this quiet period is sort of the best time for like coaches and players to be like upskilling, like so they come back into the season fresh?
If yes, because quite literally because of the kind of lack of tournaments and events, so you have the time. A lot of people would have done their kind of end of season awards, shout out HR Matt, and kind of so it's a bit of a void, a bit of a dead space in between. So yes, people should be using that time, but I think the reality is quite, actually people just turn the switch off, and then it's like, okay, we'll see you next off season. And unfortunately, a lot of people end up doing the same things again, and it's the same. That there's no real upskilling of flag knowledge like that. Like I think with tackle, you have conferences, conventions. That's what I was looking for. You have like lots of big known drives for let's go and learn and let's go and listen to this person, let's go and listen to that person. And I know like Phoebe, you'll be working on building something like that. I've been working on building something like that. Like it's the culture though needs to change around that piece. Like yes, okay, there's no playing right now, but go sit down and learn and you know, there's so much content out there for it. So it's good to get it together in one place.
Yeah, and then there's also some there's like your in January there's like your flagging Ironmans and a bunch of different flag events that people can be a part of. Though that's in Scotland. I feel like there's another one as well. Um, so lots of opportunities to kind of try and play in January. Our GB like entire program goes out to the States for like our development program, the ones, whatever you want to call it, that first week of January as well, or second week, sorry, for the FFWCT World Championships in Tampa. So that will be
Okay.
interesting because we've got like two houses that we're renting for everybody to stay in.
Oh,
Um,
that'd be nice.
so it should be fun. And they're like the American houses that have like the slides in it and the ball pits and it's all like super bougie and extra. So it should be really, yeah,
That'd be incredible.
exactly.
Is that just the women's team or the men's team as well?
No, just the women's team.
Okay. Does from a GB standpoint, because I also wonder what different nations do. Do you do much in terms of working together on camps and stuff, or is it quite women's do your thing, men's do, their own thing?
Um, we don't do stuff together, but sometimes they're at the same venue.
Okay, so
If we have aligned it, I mean, it's just more the field time because if you have all the women's program, sometimes they'll have the youth program or the under 21s and the men's, and we do everything out of Loughborough, so it's just making sure that we're rotating who has the field access, who's in classroom. One last time we had the women's tackle team there, so it just really is more about like field time.
yeah, because I kind of I think you see like some from the clips you see from Germany's camps or whatever, it's like men's and women's at the same time. But I always wonder how much actual collaboration, cohesion there is between the two groups, and is that something that should be there more or not? It's really interesting, but that sounds exciting going to the States. Is it? I don't want us to get sued. It's USA flag? When you say FFWCT, that's USA flag. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Um, and then will you also be going to uh, ESPN World of Sport? Disney?
Disney, but that's not until so it basically goes all the playoffs. So I leave the 5th of Jan, and that's kind of all NFL playoffs. And then we have that midweek tournament because it starts on a Thursday. So that's why I'm able to do that. And then that goes into to go playoffs, into Super Bowl, into the Oakley Icon Alliance, into the unrivaled Disney Wide World of
Oh,
Sports after that.
okay.
And then one more after that. So that brings us to March. So it should be a busy time. Are you guys all set for Christmas?
Kind of. I've got a few more bits like literally on the table to wrap now, but while this dog is here, God forbid I try and get some wrapping paper out.
You
Oh,
got you,
hold
you
on,
got to be
2 seconds.
mindful. No,
He's
no, no,
telling me he
exactly.
needs to go
That is going to
out.
get
Two
you back.
seconds.
It's going to get you back. That's what you get. No, Christmas is quiet time this year, so nice and chilled. So I'm trying to. It's normally just another day, but trying to make it, uh, a nice event this year. So it should be fun.
Yeah,
So,
that'll be good. Same going with my families. I have all my presents to buy still. So we will see how that goes. But it'll be fine. It's good to have a couple days off. We're not doing any podcasts for Sky that week, so I can actually enjoy myself, which will be nice.
we should do a Christmas Day podcast, like live. We shouldn't. We shouldn't. That was a joke.
We can do it, yeah, we can do it a Christmas Christmas time recap. That'll be our podcast next week. A Boxing Day recap we can do.
Um,
Mhm.
Ba, 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 ba. This week, the the quote of the week. It could also gently double up as a bit of a rant of the week, but I'm not going to call any names. I'm not going to make it personal. The quote is that there's a difference between a position of leadership. There's a let me try that again, shall I? There's a difference between having a position of leadership and actually being a leader. Um, and it's something that I saw that was actually a response given to someone who was not in a position of leadership, but
Mhm.
was asking like how they could be a leader without having that position. And I think being a leader is so much more than just a title. It's so much more than having power and it's to instruct and tell people what to do. Um, but actually, it's more about how you show up for people. You know, how you can show care and that you want people to do well, kind of
Mhm.
helping, enabling people to do well, to be the best versions of themselves, leaving things better than you found it. Those are all um, the genuine attributes of a leader. And unfortunately, it's not always those in positions of leadership that exhibit those traits, which is a
Mhm.
shame. So I think it's just first of all, it's a bit of a cautionary tale for those in leadership positions to say, because you have a position doesn't mean you're a good leader, but also then for those not in positions of leadership, that you don't have to wait to get in that position to be a leader. You can just be
Mhm.
that. I thought that was really cool. Like, 'cause it applies to, in every situation kind of thing, it applies to a lot of people. So,
Agreed. I think a lot of people in leadership sometimes maybe mistake being a leader for either being commanding or for a dictatorship. I think there's a lot of different banners and nouns that fall under just being a leader. Like you can be a mentor, you can be a guide, you can be an example. Like I feel like that's the most important one, especially if we're talking about sport. It doesn't always necessarily need to be the loudest person in the room that's, leading the team talks or trying to get everyone like rallied and be like, yeah, let's do this. It can be someone who steps on the field and, leads by example and, shows great sportsmanship as well. Like all of those, I think, are just as important when you wear that hat, that title.
No, you bring up a good point, Yaz. I think people feel like, well, because I don't have the title, I can't lead, or that's not my leadership style. But everybody has the ability to lead. You just gotta do it in your authentic way. And if at the core of what you're doing is good intention and growth and development for yourself and others, then there's no right or wrong way or right size shape to lead, essentially.
Absolutely.
So, British American Football Association came forward with another new partnership earlier this week with the the Union Jack Classic, which essentially is going to be the college football game that comes over next summer or next start of the year to Wembley. And as we're seeing more and more of these things happening, the collaborations, the support of the growth around the world, I guess my question is, do you as a player, as a coach within this country in two different sports, but do you feel any of the benefits of that? I guess, Kenny, I'll go to you first.
pressure. No, I think it's interesting. I mean, I don't think we know what the um, kind of the terms of the agreement is or what the agreement actually is. Is it just a in name thing? Is it an educational partnership? Excuse me. It's what is the actual yes working together. Is BAFA kind of helping in terms of getting people visas and stuff like that? Because quite often there needs to be those kind of things. So there's a lot of like inner workings and where um, teams might have to travel. I don't. It's really hard to understand without knowing what the kind of
It,
agreement is. It's hard to know.
it would be like I'd imagine, I mean, the Union Jack Classic is like Aer Lingus is for the college football. So
Okay.
it's just partnering like they did with AFI. Like it's just saying that, hey, we're working together with the organization within that country. So there probably will be something grassroots based around it, but also it's just a nice thing to say, isn't it, ultimately?
Yeah, I think it's kind of the same. It lends itself to the leadership piece kind of thing. Well, it's a parallel in terms of okay, it's a partnership, but to what end? Yes, you're working with um because ideally the hope is that something is created that gives value to both parties, but from us from a football standpoint,
Mm.
is it that there'll be coaching and opportunity to upskill coaches. So, but again, some of those trips are so quick. That's probably not it. Um, and maybe it's stuff to do. Maybe not. Oh my goodness. Maybe it's stuff to do not specifically, on that kind of short window, but maybe it's other stuff. Maybe it's kind of cultural exchange type pieces around it where they're, you doing virtual classes or coaches are visiting at other times outside of in the off season, might come back or whatever. So I think the idea of the partnership sounds great. It's always just for me, it's always just interesting to know why. Well, all right, so what does that actually come out as? What's the actual output then of that partnership and how does that work? But I think as two kind of brands coming together to say we're working together, it's a great thing, and I don't see, but I guess maybe it's best to say I struggle to see the people, you talk about trickle down effect. What's the benefit? What do we get? The boots on the ground type deal. Yes,
I
And
think,
places.
sorry, dog is playing with squeaky toy. I think it's really interesting what you say about the trickle down effect. I think it's always not. I think it's
we
always.
can't hear it if
We
that's
can't
any
hear it. We
Oh,
can't
benefit.
hear it. So
okay.
you got to push
That's all right then, as long as
the
you guys can't hear it. But I think it's always nice to know what a um sorry, if you can hear it, it's absolutely
we really
ridiculous.
can't
We
hear us.
can't hear it.
Right
It's
now, it's
always
just
nice
you
to know.
pausing while you're talking, and you just look like
Oh,
a
okay, it just looks like I'm just like having a having a moment.
moment, several moments. Yeah.
But it's definitely always interesting to know what a partnership like this will lend to sort of like the grassroots of a community, especially because like partnerships are great, especially for those at the top, and it's definitely something that's hopefully a relationship that's going to last for a while. Like it would be really nice to see a lot more college football over here. Maybe some kind of crossover with the maybe some kind of crossover with the academy. Maybe some kind of crossover with flag. Like it'd be really lovely to see that, especially when we had the flag championships this year at the Spurs Stadium. It'd be really nice to see if they can continue that, or maybe like give them bigger opportunities to perform in bigger stadiums with bigger crowds or um, but I think it definitely poses a really good question is like, how are these sponsorships helping the smaller teams, the people at the bottom? Like, I think sometimes it can be really beneficial to help people at the top, especially if it's advertised well. And I think college football is quite a big gap here. I feel like apart from the NFL Academy and the visiting teams, we don't really have that level of football. I mean, you have Uniball, but it's not the drop off is huge, like for the very, very top versus the bottom. So it'd be really interesting to see how they like plug their influence. You have I know it's a little bit different, but you have like a team like the Chicago Bears comes over and they then run the camps in different schools, and then they have and okay, it may not necessarily be the whole team here like 24/7 going to different schools, but it's at least running some kind of initiative to support the growth of that at the very bottom level. It'd be really interesting to see how they go about supporting that and doing that, and it'd be really nice to see sort of going into next year because it'd be yet another initiative, yet another drive to really push it, especially on the lead up to the Olympics. It'd be nice to get as many drives as possible as you can, sort of feeding into that line of the flag community, I think, and tackle
Yeah.
flag.
And I think it's probably, realistically at the moment more tackle based than anything else. But
Mhm.
I think, if we're talking about the idea of partnerships, it's finding the right partners, people who want to be a part of the growth of the game internationally. And,
Mhm.
that's something I think that most teams struggle with and have struggled with for a really long time now is how do we find a partner? How do we find somebody who is going to want to support us in the right way and like elevate the whole sport. It's not just, yes, like I want to, it's not always financial. Sometimes it's from, like an education perspective. I think there's lots of different ways to support the different sports. And I think long term, in the short term, it doesn't necessarily feel like it's going to be just for for the like elite level. Like that will have its own trickle down effect. But I know people are like, well, these teams are getting this, we should get this. But it's just going to take a long time, and I
Mm.
think people have to be patient because it's like the fact that you're bringing in the attention, you're bringing in some sort of whether it's value in kind or if it's like financial backing, that's just going to take time for
Yeah.
it to really benefit at all the levels. And even if it's just the education for those at the international level, well, they can go and bring that back to their clubs anyways. So there should be always a touch point, essentially, I guess is where I'm going with that.
But so if I was to ask this, if you had a wand, a kind of one wave fix all type deal, like how would you, what would be the model for kind of going from partnerships? How would you put those together, build those together to get kind of the benefits and the effects on a grander scale that we're looking for? Like, what does that actually look like?
I think it'd have to be like an initiative. Like I think it'd have to be like you'd have to have a time frame in which you were going to roll out a plan on the lead up to the game. I think the game should be the sort of last thing on the list in terms of what you're aiming to do. I think the foundation should maybe start a year beforehand where you come over, you bring over coaches, you do coaching clinics, you have opportunities for grassroots to play, you have maybe more coaching clinics and you almost build up a fan base on the way there. I think personally, I'm not really until this sort of end of the season. I'm not a massive college football watcher. So if you told me that a college football team, even though I'm a tackle player, a college football team was coming over, I'd be like, okay, sounds great. But you haven't necessarily done there isn't really any work there for me to necessarily go and see a game. I think you're relying a lot on people just liking tackle football or just liking the NFL to go and see these games. And I think the issue with college football is that you don't necessarily have the fan base in the sense that in the UK, everyone will just wear any jersey because they just like football and just go and see the game. I'm a Ravens fan, but the Bears are playing. I don't care. I'm just going to go because I like American football and that's what I like and that's what I want to do and that's what I want to watch. And it's a stadium close to my house. But I feel with the college football game, there hasn't yet been any work put in, and I think it could be a whole initiative where you you're still supporting that sort of ecosystem of development, both coaching and both players. And then already you've maybe filled however many seats and then you open it up to the public. But then there's opportunities within that whole initiative to have showcase games. There's no reason why you can't have two teams that have been training all year that you then have as a I don't know, as a showcase game the week before the actual college game, and then you get people down to see that somewhere like, I don't know, Copper Box or something, I don't know. But like I think it's something that could be planned so intricately to have so many different things going on. So there's so many opportunities for people to get involved along the way. And in doing so, you're building a fan base and you're building a support base. So when the game comes around, the game is actually almost like the end game, the final product of this. But along the way, you've done so many other little workshops here, bits and pieces to sort of build that community. And then every year, maybe you make it a buy every 2 years you come back and you do it rather than every year because you've put such a there's such a long process leading up to the one game. I think to do it every year. Imagine you went to January and the game was like, I don't know, in September. To just have 2 months to breathe, you'd be a bit like, oh God, like before you start it again. But maybe it's something you could do every 2 years and it would just be a really nice way, I think, to again support and drive something like yeah, that's my thought anyway.
I mean, it really is super similar to the Aer Lingus College Football Classic. It's like all kind of same in that sense. And so they do a great job of like year round really building up and like collaborating with like on the grassroots side. They do internships like across the states. So like players that have come over and played also have then come and done internships in the UK or in Ireland, sorry. Um, so there's lots of, I guess, those elements. But mainly the people that they're interested in also, it's like the fans that are coming over from the States, like the fans that are going to come over and spend money. So you hope that Kansas State, and I think it's Arizona State, are going to basically bring their fans with them and spend a whole bunch of money, boost the economy in London and all of that. So, but
It's not,
it's good.
yeah, because it's not easy to get Wembley for a game is not e and probably costs a lot of money. So,
Mm.
someone must have done their numbers and worked out that it's a viable option. So yeah, I think it.
And you have to pay the teams
Do you know how much?
a lot of money.
It's a lot of
A
Inside
lot of
knowledge.
money. It
It's a
is
lot of
out of
money.
our
So
budget.
yeah, yeah. Like
I like-
it's
Mhm.
and the
Mm-mm. Mm.
having seen the ones in Ireland, like I think it's a really good thing. It'll be a really good event. The partnership with for BAFA is a good thing.
Mm.
It's just really kind of we still want to see how that I still want to see how that is used to kind of build a compound effect that benefits everyone, but on a kind of tangible, visible plane. That would be really cool. Really, really cool.
And then last two pieces. Also, I am not supporting the Union Jack Classic. I just want to make that known for the
Ah,
people. Aer Lingus, I love you. Um, but there is a beach flag tournament coming up in the Netherlands, the 12th to 14th of June, and that has come out as registration is opened for that. And the Way to Play award continues with the NFL. So it's the Way to Play NFL Flag Award, which basically, if you have any great clips, you're predominantly US based for now or Canada, make sure to send them in and demonstrating the way to play. From all of us here, including Sir Hendrix the puppy, thank you all for joining us on another episode of What the Flag. Make sure you like, subscribe, and ring the bell. We'll see you next week.